Hello everyone, welcome back. So we are going to have Praveen Kumar on board. Praveen Kumar is a full stack JavaScript specialist who specializes in React and Node.js. He has over a decade of experience in the industry. He's a web specialist, he's a career coach, he's a mentor. He's also been recognized by Microsoft as most valuable professional. And surprisingly, he's also a Guinness World Record holder. And most recently, he has started teaching his favorite language, JavaScript, bringing to the world through his YouTube channel. So without any further ado, let's welcome Praveen to talk about using Reactjs to solve our everyday problems.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. So this is great to meet a lot of people through this platform. And I'm Praveen Kumar. I'm originally from Chennai, India. I'm a full stack JavaScript specialist specializing on React and Node.js. I'm currently living in the UK, London, and I'm currently working with one of the biggest US-based investment banking firms. So the first thing that we are going to do is basically being a developer, we have this kind of thing, right? Like we think in the development perspective and we think and behave and we do everything in these kind of things. So that is the main thing that I'm trying to tell now. So what I have been doing all these days is I have been solving all the problems. It's all about problem solving. Our life is about problem solving. So most of the times what I will generally do is like try to solve any problem using the technologies that I have got. And moreover, I love JavaScript to anything. So I kind of like, even if I do something like a small calculation or something like that, I used to open up the console and then do the calculation. So today we are here thinking about React.js. So I keep thinking a lot of things in the React way. So there is also a small chapter in the React doc saying like thinking in React. So I don't know whether that actually made my mind to go this way. So I keep thinking a lot in React, and I started working with solving different types of problems, the everyday problems, etc., using React. So this is what we are going to do. And today we are going to build some kind of like a shopping cart helper, which is going to help me with my groceries and other things. And then I'm also working with this crazy thing. Hey, by the way, in case if anyone is watching it in live in the Git Commit Show, I haven't got the access how it looks like. So just make a full screen screenshot and then try to add it on the LinkedIn or socials and just tag me. Okay, so I keep saying that I'm a full stack developer. So what exactly is a full stack developer who doesn't have a full website? Directly we will jump on to a demo. So what we are going to do is I'm going to use react.new here. Okay. So what happens with react.new is it creates a Visual Studio Code style environment. So this is kind of like VS Code style environment. And in case if you are interested to know what exactly I am using in my local machine, for example, if I'm using a VS Code here, locally, I have got a couple of ways of installing React and have set up the environment in a particular way. So if you want to know more about it, just go to Google and type in Praveen Dev Environment. The first ever link that you get is my personal development environment. So if you open that, you will be able to see this particular page. And here I use Google Chrome for almost all these things in spite of the privacy issues that we have with Google Chrome. And there are a couple of Google Chrome extensions. The main thing that I use is the React extension. So it is actually good. And then I got the Zoom for all the meetings. Then Git is for how good it would be if you can travel time in your code. So time traveling in code is possible using Git. So every single thing we will be like, putting it in version controlled manner. And then if you want to go back in time to correct anything, that is also possible. And then finally we have item2, omyzsh, etc. And then we have this Sublime Text. I mainly use Sublime Text for all the HTML, CSS, different things. There is VirtualBox and Vagrant. This is for the LAMP stack side of things. Meld is one awesome comparison tool. Node.js. Where exactly will you run JavaScript if not for the browser's console? Node.js is the one which takes it outside the JavaScript console. And finally, you have Typora and VS Code. So Typora is one of the best things I have ever seen. So it is actually a markdown editor where we can actually create something like Git Commit show, and then if I type something like introduction, okay, you don't know any commands or markdown, just go to paragraph, make it heading 2, and then here's the awesome show, just make control B or something like that. And then finally, if you see this, there is a source code view as well, and you just need to copy this and paste it in your GitHub README or Stack Overflow, because it is GFM, GitHub flavored markdown. So this is very cool, and I would like to give a shout out for these people. Like this is free right now, so go ahead and grab it. And finally, coming to the VS Code, I've got Prettier Code Formatter, which is actually helping me in prettying all these things. Then these are the couple of other tools, that extensions that I use. So this makes your life easier. So without further delay, let's directly jump into the demo. So here we are going to create a shopping cart helper. Okay. So when you go to shopping cart, what I generally do is, okay, I'll tell you the context behind why I wanted to do this. So before that, I'll just click a save so that we know that this is the site we are going to use. So it is int83.60, whatever it is, csb.app. So this is the site that you should be looking at for the demo. Let me try to make it look good. Sorry. With 160 points. Whew. That is super huge. Does it work? Yeah, it kind of works. So I'll just make 100. And then, so this is the site that you should be looking at for a live demo. And I hope you can note it down easily. It is int83.csb.app. So if you go here, if you try to open this website, you'll be able to see our React application running here. Instead of hello code sandbox, I'm going to put hello Git Commit Show, just to make sure everything works. Right? Okay, so int83.csb.app, this is the right website you will be seeing as a demo here. Okay, so now let's directly jump on into the demo. So the first thing about React is component based thing. So components and states and props, etc. These are the basic things. Whatever I am writing the code here is called as JSX. It is JavaScript with XML. That is what the React's original source code looks like, or original language looks like. Since this being a master class, I'm not planning to give a brief intro on any of these things, and it doesn't mean that you have to know all these things, because I'll try to explain as much as possible, and I'll try to keep everything as simple as possible as well. Okay, so for now, this is a functional component, so I'm just gonna make it into a class component. A difference between a functional component and a class component is class component will be having a lot of lifecycle methods, where functional component will not have anything. So let me create a React class component quickly. So this is a React class component, and then I'm just going to add it here. And let's make this, okay, so I need to also do something like JSR and app. So this will make it as div class name app. Here, what we will be putting here is we can add something like adding a h1 Git Commit Show. Okay, so we have got this basic thing up and running, and you're able to open these things. Okay, cool. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, what exactly is a class component and what exactly is a functional component? A class component can have its own lifecycle methods. Okay, so lifecycle methods, but functional component, it is something that it is going to take some input. It could take an input or no input, and then it will be displaying something based on that. And this doesn't have any of the lifecycle components on its own, and it doesn't even have any of its how should I say, you don't have any kind of like a storage on its own, whereas a class component will definitely have those things. So what we will be doing here is, we'll have a state, which stores the current state of the application. And with respect to this functional components, we'll try to print out things on it. So this is what we are going to do. I'll show it to you in a demo. That would be an easy way of representing things. But before that, we all love the CSS frameworks, right? So let's go with something called Bootstrap. It is one of the great frameworks, CSS frameworks. So I'm going to use the old Bootstrap version, the Bootstrap CSS version 4.16. So all I need to do is I need to go to the public directory. So if you see here in React, we have got two different directories. One is the public directory, one is the source directory. Public directory is what gets loaded first, and the HTML, etc., every single thing, basically this is what gets loaded first. So here we are going to do GCS shopping helper, something like that. This title looks really nice, right? So we'll go with the addition of style sheet of our Bootstrap. So if I refresh this, everything gets resetted, which we can see this. So in the app, we don't want a CSS file, but instead I wanted to make it as an SCSS file. The reason being, SCSS is far better than CSS. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And in the index, I'm going to do import styles.scss. And for understanding the styles, the SCSS file, we need to use another thing called nodejs. So I'll just add this nodejs. And one more thing which I wanted to do is, why SCSS, why not CSS? So in simple terms, if I go back to my style.css and get rid of everything, body, font family, I'll go with Open Sans or something like that. Okay. So the reason why I'm using SCSS is, for example, if I have a HTML, like let's say I have a header, there is a H1, there is a tag which says logo, and then I have got a nav tag, UL tag, li tag, a tag which has got nav1, something like this. Okay, you don't understand how this thing whole thing works, right? So in a quick moment, in a quick few seconds, I'll show you what exactly I mean by this. So I'll open the HTML part. So I have a header. Inside the header, I have a H1. Inside the H1, I have got an A, and then there is a logo along with the H1. I have a navigation bar. Inside that, there is a unordered list. There are 4 list items, and each list item has got nav 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is the HTML which I was talking about in the previous thing. So this is not just a valid text, but it is just a HTML structure. So for this HTML structure, if I want to write a CSS code, what I would be doing is I would be putting header, open and close, then copy this whole thing, then header H1, and then copy this whole thing. I believe you are also bored and I am also bored. So to mitigate that boringness, what I do is I use something called as SCSS. What it does is I can nest all these tags inside each other, and then you see the magic after this. We have UL, we have LI, and we have A. And not only that, if I try to, okay, let me show you how this actually works. So if you see this one on the right side, it is going to give me almost, okay, let me delete this thing. You have seen that this is the HTML, and here we have got something like this. So now we have got the whole HTML thing, whole CSS completely written for us in a beautiful way. So all we did is place the tags in which side it should be, etc. And since if it is able to do so much, why can't it do the function part? So those are called as mixins, and I'm going to put a link mixin which starts with this, and then if I need a hover, I need to put an ampersand. The reason why I put ampersand is if I nest it this way, we can see that there is a space coming in between these two things, correct? If I do a nesting, but in case of a colon hover, there should not be any space. That is the reason I'm putting an ampersand here. So if I do this, and instead of these two guys, if I make it into at include link, so look at that, a hover here as well as there. So this is what I get. And not only that, you can also use variables. Let's say BG color, and then I use white. Then I'll do FG color. I use black, and then I'll use a link color, LN color, and I use an orange color. I'm kind of color blind. That's why I go with all these codes, so that it is always correct. So for links, I want to use the color as $LN color. And the moment I do this, all the links in my page will be using this one. This is very much helpful for theming something. Okay. And in case if I'm using a hover, let's use the color as BG color. And basically, I want the color to be FG color. So we could see that all the places it is actually getting immediately populated. This is the main reason why I really like SCSS. Let's say you are sending this for Facebook. So BG color is going to be a dark blue thing. So I change this, and the FG color will be a white color thing. So immediately everywhere the colors are getting changed, and we can also see that this is also a blue color. So there are multiple places where this is there, can be changed. Someone can ask me, why can't I use find and replace? What if I have both the FG color and the link color as FFF? You will be able to see that here it is also FFF, here is also FFF. What is the difference between the link and the thing? So in this case, you will be able to easily differentiate. So that is the reason why I have been using SAS or SCSS. So now we have done this. We have got this one. So we will also separate everything, and it is going to be amazing. Okay. So let's go with the app. And the first thing which I wanted to do is let's have a nice header, and all these things are bootstrap based, right? So I have this particular React components. So bootstrap React helpers. I'm going to use this one for the headers. So all these things are directly sourced from this documentation. So I'm just going to copy paste from this one. So this was created with the same kind of thing. So I just need just the header. So I'm just going to copy this whole thing and create a component called header.js. I can also put something like bootstrap and put inside that a header.js, because it is a bootstrap component. It's not our component. Maximum what I have done is there is a dark mode or not, then the children, whatever you are putting inside the tag, a class name, and then the link for it. That's all I have added. And finally, coming to our app.js, I'm going to include the header here. So now, so in simple term, okay, for some reason, this one is not getting included. It could be because I did not save it. That was the reason. So now, if I do header, it is showing me auto import from Bootstrap. Done. That's it. So now if I put git GCS shopping helper and I save the header. Okay, now I believe a lot of people will say like this should be center lined and this should be a dark header or something like that, right? React, we are working with React. So what we can do is quickly we can make another header with a class name, justify content center, that centers the thing. At the same time, if I just need to make it as dark mode, all I need to do is dark equal to true. Boom, that's done. That is the power of React, power of componentization. So we have got our GCS shopping helper here. The next thing that we are going to do is we need a kind of a storage area in our page or in our application to store something. Let's say we will be storing the kind of like what all the clicks that we are using, like what all the things that we want from the master list of the grocery shopping list. Okay, so I'm going to put a state object here, and this has got all the things like we'll start with this small thing. So we need to show everything from whatever we have done so far, like whatever we have got or something like that. So that is what we need to do. So for that, what we can do is we can have a list of items in a constant way. Okay, so there will be a lot of items that we will be using in general terms. So we can have them as a constant file. Okay, and then we can load it from there. So for that, what I'm going to do is let's save this one, and inside the src I'm going to create a directory. Okay, that's fine, constants, and inside that I wanted to create a file called items. Let's say we have got a couple of items that we need, and sorry, I had to copy and paste this one because there is a huge list. So this is very similar items that we generally use. Okay, I'll just save this one, and then I'll show you what all things are coming in here. So inside the thing, like for example, inside this one, I wanted to add .header. So for the header, I'll just give some margin bottom. By the way, if there are any hosts here, how do I get to know what people are talking, and if they need a question or a clarification, how am I answering them? Can someone help me out with that? Okay, so let's go on. So now, right now, if I put hi here or something like that, we can see that it is having that margin bottom here. So what I want to do is I want to put a container. Inside the container, I want a row. Inside the row, it should be like at least call 12 basically. But in bigger screens, let's say in call SM screens, it should be 6 size, then offset should be 3. Why I have used this one, if I put hi here, I'll be able to see this way, and then later on it will be in the smaller way. In simple terms, if you want to see how it actually renders, you can do bg primary.p3 or something like this. So you can see that this is how it renders, and then if I go in a bigger way, it is going to show this way. Okay, so maybe SM6 is a bit too much, so I would go with SM8, and this will be 2. So if I do this way, this seems to be better. Okay, so now we have got something like this. Now inside this, what I want to do is I want to import the items which are here. Okay, so we have got the items, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to import the items from this. So this is an array, so I can map through the array. So this is an item, and if I just put the item here in a paragraph or something like that, always don't forget to add the key. And then if I put item here, you could see that all these items are given here. So I don't feel that after using Bootstrap and all, we should be using something really cool, right? There is something called as list group. So let's go with the list group with the action elements. Okay, so we have got this list group, and we have got this action items as well. So all we need to do is list group item action. That is what we need to do. So first thing is I wanted a unordered list called list group, and inside that every single item needs to be inside a list item. So list item key, this is fine, but we need to give some classes. Don't use class because it's a keyword in JavaScript, so you need to use class name, and it should be list group item, and then we also need to use list group item action. Only the active will come when we need to show it in a better way. So if you look at this one, we already have got all these things added here. So let's say if I want this one, I can just go ahead and hit the button in that. Okay, I'm also going to show you a demo of the same thing with my phone as well. Okay. Before that, I just need to quickly check the time. Yes, we still have 35 minutes. I hope it is not boring for everyone and you're able to go code along with me, or like at least understand what I am trying to say. I still don't know how to see your, in case whoever is watching this, I don't know how to see your chats or anything, but let's see. Okay, so we have got all these basic things that needs to be added. So if I click on this one, I need to know that this has been clicked. So how do I know that? Let's say selected, and then let's give 5 as the number. Okay, and what I will be doing here is I'll make this class name into a dynamic class name. And try to make it, if it is selected, we need to also have an ID of it. So I'm going to put item and ID here. If this is selected, I need to put an active here. If not, nothing. So something like this. So we can see this honey kilograms has been selected. So this is kind of like the selection algorithm, or like you can have the handle selection. And then I'm just gonna put which ID. So which ID, and then this dot set state. So we should not mutate the state. Selected will be the ID. So instead of making this in a better way, so we can make it as selected equal to selected. So now if I click on anything, okay, I need to do the on click. So if I do the handle selection of ID, all I would be getting is only one thing I can select at a single point of time. So we will be using something like a array. Okay. So let's say I have got a selected as an array, and then what I would do here is ID and then const selected. Oops. I'll get everything from this dot state dot selected, and then selected dot push. I'll just try to push that ID inside this, and then I'll set the state as selected. So in this case, I would be having multiple IDs to be selected, something like that. So once I do this handle selection, I'll be getting the ID. I'll be getting the first, all the selected stuff. Then I'll add the selected ID here, and then I'll update the state as well. So now at this point, here I need to also change. It is not going to be directly equivalent for what I have selected, but instead, if selected dot index of ID is greater than -1. So it could be 0 or anything. If that is the case, then show me active. So this is active, this is active, this is active. Now we know which all the things that are active right now. Coming to the unselection part. So handling the selection and unselecting it. So since I have very less time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a couple of already written code quickly, and then I'll try to add that. Okay. I'm sorry about that part. So what I'm going to do is let me try to get the toggle selection items. So since we have got all these things already here, I'm just gonna do that. This dot, so all these selected items include this dot select state dot selected, and then what I'm gonna do is I need to also update the state, right? So we have the items. This is the item that we need to do. I just need to do this dot set state selected will be the items. If not, I just need to add only one thing. So copy this whole thing. So selected will be this sorted select along with, that's it. So now this is not the selected items. This dot state dot selected is the selected items. So what I'm doing here is, first I'm checking whether this element is already there or not, and then I'm trying to do a addition of the item, and all the items are added. Then in case if that particular item is already present, I'm trying to get the index, and then I'm splicing that array from that index so that that particular element at that index get removed. That's it. So if I try to use this one, I'm able to select everything. At the same time, I'm also able to unselect everything. This is the main thing which I wanted to do. So this has been done. The next thing that I'm going to do is, I also want to show in a different way how exactly I need to select everything. So since I'm getting a pressure of like finish this in few seconds or few minutes, so this is the main concept which I wanted to do. So I will be able to use this alone as my list or something like that. So I need to have another page where it shows all the things, like only the selected items, and I can also use a check mark for it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'll just put a page or shop page, and I'll put false, and then this whole thing displays if this is not the shop page. So this dot state dot shop page, then shopping page, else I want this whole thing to be displayed. So we need to show, like, I'm done with the selection. I can go to the shopping cart. I can go for the shopping and then list the items that I want to see. So here also we will use a list group again, and then we'll try to add all the items that we wanted. But in this case, we want a list group with a form, something like a checkbox or something like that. I don't think I could see anything right now. So what I would do is, instead of using a li, I'm going to use a label, and instead of using a ul, I'm going to use a div. So here, what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to filter the elements and then display it here. So the items are the same. So if I do the same kind of a logic here, it will be showing me all the items, but instead I want only the items that I have selected. And for that, what I will be doing is, here I'm going to check if this ID is there inside the this dot state dot selected. So this dot state dot selected dot index of the particular item ID is greater than -1, then show this. If not, show nothing. Okay, so let's say for today, I would like to buy, oh wait, I need to also show a place, I need to also have a button that kind of like switches between show page true and show page false. So let me quickly have one small header button. So I'm going to put button.btn.btn outline primary, and then I'll just put shop. Okay, something like this. I don't want to do any styling at this moment. ML5 or something like this, so that it actually shows some good space. Let's make that success. Yeah, that is better. So for this on click, what I'm going to do is I'm going to toggle this one. Okay, I'm going to first prevent the default thing, because I don't want the button to like restart the page, and then I want to set the shop page as false. So this dot set state, we have shop page is not this dot state dot shop page. So if I save this, and then also in the class names, this outline part, I need to make sure it is there or not. Okay, so for that, what I'm doing is something like this. So this would be if this is true, if shop page is true, then I'm giving this one as the outline. So shop page is true. If the shop page is true, I'm giving this as the outline. If not, it's not going to show it. So if the shop page is true, I would be seeing the ones that I got it for the shop page. Okay, so here we have got all these things as a div, and inside the list item, instead of the list item, I'm gonna make it as a checkbox kind of a thing. Again a div, or again a label, and then I guess my logic is wrong, so I'll just put this way. Okay, so if I click on the shop, it becomes it becomes solid, and then I'll be able to go take this and shop it with me. And now what I'm gonna do is I will be having a small checkbox, and then I can strike out those things that I have bought. So before that, I'll just select a couple of things and click on shop. So I will be able to see this one. Okay, and now I just need to give margin 0. Oh, yeah, that works. And this state of selected index or those kind of things, I don't think I need that. I'll be getting rid of that too. And here, the moment I click on this, I don't want it to do anything like the handle click or something like that. Those kind of things should not happen. So if I select these 3 things and click on the shop, it is showing me this way. Now here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a span tag here and then put the item here. And here, since it is inside the label, I'm also going to put an input type checkbox and give a class be none, which means it will not show me the checkbox at all. Okay, it doesn't show me the checkbox. But if I click on this, okay, let me show you how it looks. I click on a couple of things, click on shop. If I click on this, it is able to toggle things, right? So now what I'm going to do is, for this particular span, let's give a nice class name, GCS out, something like this. Okay, so I'll copy this one in our styles.css, input colon checked. In the case of input is checked and there is a .gcs output, I'm going to give text style, okay, right, through CSS quickly. I'll just copy it and okay, text decoration strike, text decoration strike. Overline, not overline. Wait. Line through, I guess. Yeah, line through. Okay, so if I have tomatoes, these things I wanted to shop, I can just select this and this is done, and select this is done. So this is what I generally do. So in case if this is the thing which I wanted to see, what I will do is I'm going to stop sharing now, stop my screen sharing now. It is int83.csb.app, right? So I hope you are all able to see my face. Now I'm going to open my page, and then so int83.csb.app. Okay, this is what I'm typing. I know it is a bit blurry here. So we have got our we have got our GCS shopping app. Wait, let me try to refocus it. I don't think there is an autofocus here, so I have to show it this way. So I've got the GCS app here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose milk, curd, lemons, crumplets, etc. And then I have selected a couple of things, hit the shop. I've got these things to be bought, and all I need to do is, okay, so I pick up the honey killogs, boom, that's struck. Crumplets, that is struck as well. So this way I can try to have my application running here, and then all I need to do is and then this is one simple way of using technology or using my React's love for React to do a shopping cart application, and then I can go ahead and bring all these things. So that's what I did, and thank you so much for patiently listening. I'm open for questions. Any questions right now?
So we have an interesting question. Folks want to know, how are you managing teaching and development work at the same time?
Both are almost same, right? So whatever I am teaching is related to the development part, and whatever I am developing, the outcome of the team.
And there are some questions related to how can someone get started with web development as a beginner.
So there is a huge roadmap available. Let me share my screen and also show you. So there is some website called as roadmap.sh. So you want to become a full stack developer or a front-end developer or a back-end developer, this is the best place to go for. And if you go here, you will be able to see something like front-end development, back-end development. And if you learn both the things, you can become a full stack developer. And also there is a roadmap for React development as well. So this is the front-end development roadmap. This is the back-end development roadmap. This is the React development roadmap. If you quickly have a look at the front-end development roadmap, we can see what are all the things that are there in front-end development. You have the basics of internet, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, version control systems, web security knowledge. So every single thing, like one by one, you can actually go and learn. So it is at the first look, it might be looking big, but this is a perfect roadmap for you to go and start working on it. It is the same thing similar to the backend. There is basics of front-end knowledge is added. Along with that, there is operating system and general knowledge. Then we have got one of the backend languages. There are so many backend languages where you can learn one of them. Then you do have the version control systems. Then comes the database part. Then you have the different types of database things, database features, caching, web security. These things are very, very much crucial in terms of backend, not in front end. But now you will be doing a lot more in backend, and then again keep on learning. So if you try to make sure you know both these things, at least all those things that are there, the blue ticks alone, I guess that alone will make you a better full stack developer. And this is one of the best ways to start with it. So start with front end. If you want, you do the backend, go to React, and then you can also come back to backend. So basically you need to know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, a bit of a CSS framework like Bootstrap, and ES6 modules, which are the latest version of JavaScript syntax kind of a thing. And then finally, start learning React. And then if you want to go back to backend, Node.js and Express.js. That is how you can become a full stack developer, full stack JavaScript developer. And then you can also learn other languages, Python, Java, we have PHP, LAMP stack, etc. Those things are also there, so you can choose whichever you are comfortable with and whichever you want to learn. This is one of the answer I would say.
So there's an interesting question, like given that you are primarily work with JavaScript and React, so folks want to know, when should someone use JavaScript, specifically React, and when not to use it. So
in case if you are kind of trying to create a personal website or something like that, a static page which doesn't have multiple components or something like that, don't use React. Use a simple static page, basic HTML. When do you want to use a React? When there are like multiple pages where you want to have a performance, like in a single page application, React routing can be used. And then you have a lot of similar components, like for example, the header and footer are all the same. Then you have a basic sidebar, and then there are multiple like page level things. For example, if you take Facebook or Twitter, you have all those dabbas where everything will be repeated, right? The like, comment, share, etc. will be repeated. So those kind of things, when you're using those things, at that point of time, I believe React makes more sense rather than using it for your personal website or anything. So React is not something that is looking like beautiful or anything. It is the back end of the front end. That is, it is going to help you divide your front end into multiple files and then use it that way. And to be honest, there is no difference between if there is a website that can be built with React or without a React. There won't be any visual difference that you can do. It is the development effort that you will be doing. For example, in case if you are using HTML and CSS, just pure of them, you will be same person will be working, like Sneha and I are working on the same file. In case of React, Sneha will be working on footer.js, I'll be working on main.js. So that way React will be helpful in case if it is a big project which contains multiple things or something like that. So that is what I would say.
Thank you, Praveen. So thank you so much for joining in for this talk.
Please do connect with me.